Hey, what's up everybody? Philips here. Welcome back after a short break. I was on vacation in Albania, spent some amazing time. Okay, so today we are diving into the world of VPNs. We are going to build our very own WireGuard VPN exit node using the WG-EASY GUI. It's going to be simple, straightforward, and super effective. So grab your coffee and let's get started. Alright folks, so what's the game plan for today? We are going to set up a WireGuard VPN exit node. An exit node is the point where your traffic exits the VPN encrypted tunnel and enters the internet. Why? Because we all love privacy and security, and WireGuard is the new hotness in the VPN world, fast, secure, and easy to set up. This solution lets you securely access your home resources and browse the web on the go. But we are not stopping there. We are going to make it even easier by using the WG-EASY GUI. No more fiddling around with command line if it's not your thing. Ready? Let's get into it. First up, let's talk about what we need. We'll need a server, could be a VPS or a VM in the cloud. Oracle has some generous free tier if you're interested, or just an old machine laying around. We'll be using this little guy. It's an ARM64 single board computer with 8-core CPU and 8 GB of RAM, but any low-power SBC or terminal capable of running Linux will do. If you're interested in my home lab equipment, please let me know in the comments. You can easily attach a public IP to a VM in the cloud, but if you decide to self-host the solution at home, you'll also need a static public IP. Usually, you'll get charged extra for a static IP. Where I live, a static IP is about $3 per month. Of course, it's possible to use dynamic DNS solution, but having a static IP is much more convenient. If you don't have a static public IP attached to your router, it's better to build the solution in the cloud or try different approach like zero-tier, Tailscale, or Cloudflare. And of course, you need Docker installed on the server as WG GUI is running in a container. If you haven't got Docker, don't worry, it's super easy to set up. I will go to our server and update the packages list with apt update. Next, let's install CA certificates and CURL tools. Most distros have them already installed. Then let's create a directory where we'll store keys used to validate package signatures and set its permissions. I will then download the Docker public key to newly created directory and update its permission so others can read it. Let's then add a Docker software packages repository to our system package manager. We are on Ubuntu, so it's apt. Finally, let's refresh the package list with apt update and install Docker with apt install. Last step is to add our user to Docker group, so we don't have to use root to interact with Docker daemon. Let's log out, log back in, and check if the Docker service is running. Alright, Docker is in place. The hard part, creating a Docker Compose file where we'll define our WG-EASY application. Let's start with defining a volume. A volume provides a way to store data outside of the container itself, ensuring that the data doesn't get deleted when the container is stopped or recreated. Let's name it etc WireGuard. Now let's define our WG-EASY service. We'll start with environment variables that hold basic configuration. Let's set the language to English. Feel free to set it up to your language of choice. WG host variable will hold your public IP that clients will use to connect. You can set it up to an IP or to a fully qualified domain name. Then let's specify the password to our WireGuard GUI. Port variable will hold information on the TCP port the GUI is listening on. I will set it to 80 TCP for simplicity. Our GUI is not exposed to the outside world, and even if we want to expose it, we'll put a reverse proxy in front of it. Next, let's specify the WireGuard port that will be exposed to the outside world and that our clients will use to VPN in. Mine that is an UDP port. I will set it to 443. You will ask, why 443? The thing is, most firewalls that you'll encounter will allow 443 UDP traffic out as it's used for quick protocol. Default address is the /24 range that your clients will be assigned the IP addresses from. Allowed IP's configuration option set to quad zeros tell the client that any address can be routed through the tunnel. As we are building an exit node, that's exactly what we want. Now let's set the DNS the client will use. Then let's set the MTU to a safe value. Persistent keep alive option tells the client to send keep alive packets to the server at regular intervals. These keep alive packets help maintain the connection in scenarios where NAT or firewall rules might otherwise cause the connection to be dropped due to inactivity. Lastly, let's enable traffic statistics with the UI traffic stats option set to true. Chart type 3 is the bar chart. It's time to specify the Docker image we'll be using. Let's also provide the container name. I will specify the volume to use. We'll map the etc WireGuard inside the container to our volume. Let's expose the ports 443 UDP for WireGuard traffic and 80 TCP for HTTP GUI. Let's set the restart policy to always restart the container if it stops, regardless of the reason. The container will keep restarting unless it's explicitly stopped by the user. Lastly, we need to add specific Linux capabilities to the container. netadmin allows the container to perform various network-related operations that are normally restricted, like rigging interface up or down, configuring routes, and so on. Sys module allows the container to load and unload kernel modules. Let's set some kernel parameters. IP forward enables routing between interfaces. Source valid mark enables source validation based on the firewall mark of the packet. It's needed for the WG quick script to work. Okay, let's start the container with Docker Compose app. -D means detached mode, so it will run in the background. Let's hit enter and let Docker do its thing. It's fetching the latest image for us. Awesome. While that's pulling, let me tell you a bit about WG-EASY. This nifty tool provides a web-based GUI to manage your WireGuard VPN, making it super easy to create and manage clients. There we go. Our container is up and running. But hold your horses, we are not done yet. Let's access the GUI. I will open the web browser and navigate to the private IP of our server. Let's enter the password we did set up earlier, and boom, we are in. Look at this beautiful interface. Here you can add a new WireGuard client with click of a button. Let's add one right now. I will start with Android device. Let me click on new client, give it a name. Let's call it Android and hit create. And just like that, we got our configuration ready to go. To load the configuration on your Android device, I will click on this button to display QR code. Then let's go to my Android device. First, I will check the public IP. It's 83.68. something. Let me open the official WireGuard application, click the plus button and select Scan from QR code. Now let me point the phone to the screen where the QR code is displayed. I will name the tunnel Android and select Create Tunnel. To enable VPN, let's toggle this switch. Bam, we are in. Do you see the red dot on the server GUI? It indicates a client has connected. It also shows some basic details like the IP that was assigned and current transmission speed. Let me go back to the browser on my phone and check my public IP. Now the traffic is routed via the exit node. My IP is 176.122. something. Let's run a quick speed test to see that all is working fine. Yup, all is good. Now let's add an Apple device to our VPN. I will click Add Client and name it Apple, then display the QR code on the screen. On the iPad, I will open the official WireGuard application, click Add a tunnel from the QR code, and scan the QR code from the screen. I will name the tunnel Apple, enter the passcode to add the VPN, then toggle the switch to enable the VPN. Finally, let's run a speed test. Do you see the statistics in the GUI? Now let me show you two more things. Suppose you need to rebuild your solution from scratch. To do this, you need to stop the container and remove the volume, as simply recreating the container isn't enough, since the volume retains all your configuration. Here's how to do it. First, we need to stop the container, execute docker compose ps to get the stack name. Next, run docker compose stop and provide the stack name. Now our container is stopped. To remove the container, let's execute docker compose remove. We also need to remove the volume that holds the configuration. Check the volume name with docker volume list and then remove it with docker volume remove. Now we have a clean slate. You can recreate the container with new configuration. The client connects to your router over the internet, and the router then redirects the traffic to your WireGuard server. The setup process varies across different devices, but you'll typically find it under port forwarding, port redirection, port mapping, or virtual servers in your router settings. I will demonstrate that using a MikroTik router. Let's log into the router, navigate to NAT settings and add a new rule, set the action to destination NAT to change the destination IP, set the chain to destination NAT as well, specify the target port as 443, set the incoming interface to WAN, choose UDP as the protocol. This will forward the traffic to the internal IP of our server on port 443. Next, we need to allow this traffic through the firewall. Let's go to the filter section, add a new accept rule, configure the rule to allow new connections with the following settings. Type destination NAT, protocol UDP, incoming interface WAN, destination port 443, and that's it. Your router is now configured to redirect UDP traffic on port 443 to your VPN server. And there you have it, folks. In just a few simple steps, we've set up a WireGuard VPN exit node with the WG-EASY GUI. Now you can browse the web securely, access your home network from anywhere, or whatever your VPN needs might be. If you found this video helpful, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe for more awesome content, and hit the bell icon so you'll never miss a video. If you have any questions or run into any issues, drop a comment below. I'm here to help. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Happy networking, everyone.